Hello all, and welcome to LoreLines episode 14. Fallonhawk speaking. I've got more people today than I thought. We had a few sick calls, and thankfully we've actually got almost a full cast. Welcome back, episode 14. Today we were discussing Bozja and some trivia as well. Don't have much to say here, so let's just go ahead and open it up.
We have trivia!
Hooray!
Well, to be fair, we had trivia ready for FanFest, but Square Enix then decided nope. And the other day we were actually going through the FanFest news, so there wasn't.
Yeah, that was an especially long episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you guys can forgive us for going off like that.
We were very excited.
Unforgivable.
Oh, God.
Listen, Cobron, go ahead.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
No, I mean,
Couldn't be.
we were excited, and we are excited. It's Tuesday when we're going to get the final episode of Shadowbringers.
No, it's going to be worse on Tuesday because then we're going to be even more hyped for Edit Walker.
You just keep me reminding me because I have to work Tuesday, so I'm debating leaving my phone at home. So
Yeah, if I'm in pain on Twitter tomorrow, you don't want to see it until you get there and experience it yourself.
I'm going to be looking at the clock every 2 minutes, and it's going to be painful. Good thing I work in the medical field because it'll distract me.
It is a
I
good
can
thing because
promise you that I won't spoil anything, Ayumi.
No, you will. I know
Oh,
you.
we have to avoid all things for a day or two.
It's true because he said every 2
Probably.
minutes he's going to be getting reminders, and that's mostly because I'm going to be tweeting every 2 minutes.
Yeah, here we go.
Twitter too.
Here's a quick way to solve that. I'll just uninstall Discord. I'll uninstall Facebook. I'll uninstall Twitter. I will have no social media whatsoever.
I mean, that may be the best plan, is just uninstall social media off your phone and then play Opera Omnia on your phone or something.
Or just don't look at it for 8 hours.
The
Do
thing-
your job.
That's actually pretty much what I do. I mean,
Don't tell me how to live my life.
I was going to say, in the normal patch situation, I would be like, oh, I won't, send you any spoilers. I'll just, if something is amusing to me, I'll probably be like, hey, let me know when you're on the dungeon or trial so that I can help you out.
No,
How dare
you'll
you tell
send
me
me
there
some
was a
kind of
dungeon or a trial.
stupid
trial
meme.
in this case. So if there is, then that would be a spoiler.
So
I know you. You'll send me a type of stupid meme, and you'll think it's funny, and I'll be spoiled.
That sounds like an awesome plan. And I have to say that I'm going to be really disappointed when I watch this VOD because I'm on my Flying the Mazu mount right now, spreading gold and cheer.
Look at Yumi, the world is on fire, and here's Fortunal looking at us all funny.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, I can't be home right now. Thanks.
That's funny.
Man, I'm gonna have to wait to send you music clips too.
Don't, because I'll throw my phone against the wall and have to go right next door to AT&T.
Cause I'm getting up at 5 a.m. or whatever so that I can play when the servers come
Robert.
available. So
That's
Anyway,
madness.
how about that trivia?
How about that trivia? So how do you want to start this?
So the idea is that the chat and you guys participate and maybe work together to get the answers. It's going to be 14 questions because arc number, because I'm that original.
Episode 14, 14 questions. What's going on today?
for Final Fantasy 14, wow!
Gasp.
Wow.
Wow! We're
What is
all
wrong with
terrible.
us
Do we
today?
have to enter in the chat, or can we just shout out the answer and ruin it for everyone?
Stream delay in mind.
Yes.
It's only about 10 seconds.
Okay, then you can shoot. You can shout. The crew can shout it if they know.
North
the
Shroud.
answer.
Did you say trout?
Hmm?
North Shroud.
No.
Swimming with the fishes.
I said shout.
I'll be back.
I heard trout. I broke her. There it is.
Okay.
Deep breaths. Goulis.
I hate you.
Do we have
You're not the
slides you can
first.
use just for interest?
You're not the first. You won't be the last.
Okay. So should I start or what? Are you actually? Should I start or I should keep you guys making fun of me.
I mean, I'm waiting for my turn. Actually, no, that I had my turn. That was starting off today's episode.
My turn. My turn. I love that voice clip from Fan Curated. It's so spammable.
It is. So let's begin this trivia now that we're sufficiently drained of our caffeine.
Okay, well, now that we're warmed up, stop!
Please reboot your mouth.
Do you want you truly want me to go blue screen of death in live, right? I know you want that.
I mean, you suggested it.
Wow.
Okay, I'm fine now.
Are you?
No.
I figured.
Okay, so the first question is going to be probably the longest one. So
Okay.
It has 4 parts, but okay. The first question for this trivia is: you're going to have to name the patches of all 4 expansions in Final Fantasy XIV. Let's start with a Realm Reborn.
The names of every patch? Oh no.
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh god.
I fail.
I fail too.
Failing Hawk.
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is I think 2.1 was like Heroes Awoken or something.
A Realm Awoken.
So
Good
evil.
one. Who said that? A Realm Awoken. That's 2.1.
I did.
Okay.
Through the Maelstrom?
That was 2.2.
Yes. And that's 2.2. Yeah, well
Yeah.
done. And it's not valid to Google up.
If you
Yeah,
cheat,
no
she will
Googling.
know and end you.
You don't know how, but she will.
Okay.
So we need 2.3 next, right?
2.3. Which one is that? It is a title.
I hope you can just hear like my brain steaming.
This is played with all of us, right?
Yes.
Which one is this? 2.3?
2.3.
Yeah.
Yes. It is a title in game.
Defenders of Eorzea?
Yes. Well done.
That totally didn't stick in my head at all.
I knew it because Alphinaud's a fucking cuck. And that's when it
Not
started.
wrong. I knew it was something
He
Eorzea, and I'm
formed a
just like,
private army. Of course he is.
yeah,
That's when it
Okay.
started, and I wanted to punch him so badly in that patch.
same though.
Okay.
We're so fucking brave.
2.4. 2.4.
Dreams of Ice.
That I
Yay.
can remember because of
Okay.
the Shiva being memorable.
Very well. And 2.5?
It was on the tip of my tongue earlier.
I was literally looking at it like 4 days ago, and now my brain just keeps wanting to name it the same thing as the fucking Twinnings theme because I know that it shares a fucking word.
Well, actually.
So what are we
not.
looking at, Fao?
Wow, look at all those screenshots.
I was gonna bring up my picture of Bozja for fun.
Ah, okay.
Before the fall.
Before the fall, there we go.
There we go.
Yes.
I knew it wasn't a long fall, like goddamn.
Yeah, I was actually going to say there's a lyric from the Shadowbringers theme that may give you a clue. We fall.
Yeah.
Ooh, you held that note good.
Technically, I took singing lessons.
Why aren't you singing the Garlemald theme then?
She was. Though.
You're still stuck on that, aren't you?
I mean, I can sing that one.
Not right now, but we will. Don't worry.
We're doing trivia. Okay, Heavensworth patches.
All right.
3.1. Very well, Esper. As goes light, so goes darkness. Yeah, and Gears of Change is 3.2. Yay.
Soul Surrender is
Two strikes.
Soul Surrender is 3.3, right?
No.
Also, no, that's
It's 3.4.
Derp.
Revenge of the Horde.
Oh
Because
yeah.
there's
Yeah,
a kind of
that's
Revenge of
war
the Horde.
between them
Yeah.
and WoW. I remember.
And what? And which one is 3.5?
Lol,
I
soldier.
have. Yeah.
Far Edge of Fate. There we go. Yep.
The Far Edge of Fate. I was going to say.
See what lies.
It
I
is
just
in
started
my
laughing,
Discord
so I couldn't
profile.
even say it.
I was going to say it's in my Discord profile. Past the far edge of fate, ring blades dark and light.
Well, how about that trivia?
It's like 3 years past.
Okay,
Far Edge of Fate.
Stormblood. Which are the Stormblood patches?
Oh God, 3.1. What was it called?
4.1, but fair.
Or
Yeah,
4.1? Yeah, 4.1.
It's so weird how like we just skipped a whole expansion. We went from 3.0 to 5.0. There wasn't a 4.0.
Okay, 4.2 is Rise of a New Sun, correct?
Yep.
What's 4.1? 4.3
Legend Returns. That's right, because it was the first Evilise raid.
Yay! The Legend Returns. Good one. Which one is 4.4? One of my
Wait,
favorites.
well, what about 4.3?
4.3, yeah.
Is that Under the
4.3,
Moonlight?
Under the Moonlight, yeah.
Under the moonlight.
Tsukuyomi.
Under the moonlight.
4.4, yep.
Prelude in Violet. And 4.5.
Requiem for Heroes.
For Heroes, right.
Yes! Yes!
I
That was
remember
one of
that-
my favorite patches.
I remember
So good.
that one and Prelude because Emmett was in them.
I mean,
Plus, we had the Kingdom Hearts bullshit at the end.
Okay, and Shadowbringers. Now we have all 5 patches. There we begin.
The Emmett patch.
Vows of Virtue, Deeds of Cruelty.
Yeah, that was a good
Yay! Very well.
Echoes of a Fallen
The Near
Star.
patch.
Yes.
Everyone should know this next one. This is the one that wrecked us.
And you don't remember its name.
Reflections in Crystal.
Yay! And 5.4.
Which it has Green and Gaia on it.
And Law of Brea, inexplicably.
Somehow at the bottom.
Yep. He does as he pleases. Let's be real.
Is it Futures?
Futures rewritten.
Rewritten?
Yay! And 5.5.
Death unto Dawn.
I don't know it. I can't tell.
Very well. Okay, that was probably one of the hardest questions. But it's actually, this one is one of the frequent trivias I personally take, and I regularly do this one for refreshing my mind. Okay, do you want to go to the second question?
Do it.
Okay, name the 7 worms of Midgardsormr's first brood.
Oh,
God.
Ritra.
Ritra, Svalger,
Graysvelger.
Ratatosker,
Ratatosker.
Nidhogg,
Yes.
Tiamat.
Yeah.
That was most of them.
Bahamut. Yeah.
Bahamut's another one, yep. And then the one that we haven't seen yet at all.
Nidhogg, Krailsvegar, Tiamat, Azdaja, Bahamut, and
Azdaja.
Vritra.
Yes. Yes.
There you go.
This one was relatively
You
easy.
win.
It was actually more complicated before FanFest because I wrote this trivia before FanFest.
And then Vitra showed up.
Ritra came in and it was like, okay.
I hope that Daja is in Endwalker as well.
Okay, this is one of it's a simple question. What was the name of Grahatia's ancestor who was given the elegant royal eye by Princess Selena?
It wasn't Une and Doga, the clones. It was not them.
It was a Mikote.
Yeah, it was a cat.
Yes.
Yeah. But he doesn't have a normal cat name.
He has an elegant cat name?
No, it's. I'm going to give you a clue. It's a name from a character of a classic Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's an FF3 reference, and I'm blanking right now. I know it starts with a D.
Dash. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not spelled like that, but yes, Esper. It's Dash. SCH.
This is fun changing slides.
Okay, this one's going to be perhaps a bit complicated, but it's going to be interesting. Name all the auspices we meet through Stormblood's Four Lords questline.
Oh, you mean like all those little animals that are in the temple? Oh God!
Turtle Boy, Fox Boy.
Yes, all those.
Phoenix Girl.
I remember that the raccoon
Snake
or whatever
Boy.
Furry, like literally FUR.
Fury is one of them.
Because Doorman or whatever.
She is the
How about the
gatekeeper
lesser,
of
like
the
the little ones?
corporation. Yeah. The lesser ones too, yes. They're all
Well, it's easy to say Genko and Suzaku and Seiryu and Byakko. Koryu, who's in the
Koryu, yes. There, who is the monkey one that we fight in Swallow's Compass?
Kuten
Dasheng.
Yes, very well. And the fat cat, what's her name? Senri, very well, Banana. Senri.
Senri the fat cat.
What's the name of the how would you call it?
Parrot?
Chongus.
It's a I think it's a it's a I think he's a weasel. It's the long whistle we fight.
Yeah, it's like the weasel ferret thing that's in Hell's Lid.
Oh, why can't I remember that? That one's.
Is it a Japanese name?
Yeah, it's Japanese name. It's
Kamaitachi.
That's it.
Yeah, it's Kamaitachi. Yeah. Then the
Thanks, Naruto.
The raccoon one that has the name. This is only a clue, perhaps only I am going to get, but its name is the name of the ultimate weapon, the ultimate boomerang Hope as Time has in Final Fantasy 13.
This is a you question. Darn it.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Ultimate What's the name?
You're making me remember a Final Fantasy that I did not like.
It's new. Very well, Banana. That's his name. New.
Nue.
New.
Well, yeah. I can't speak. The lion thing that is always guarding the crystal stone. What's his name? It actually has the same name. I actually realized its name. Well, his name has is actually the name of one of the shields in 14. I was like, well, okay, now I know from when it comes. Komainu, yeah, very well. But Anna actually knows a lot of these little animals. And the Shiba dog that we find in Raisin Temple. What's his name?
So incidental that they just like slipped my mind.
It is. You tend to forget about them.
They were always forgettable.
I'm going to
Wow.
say that the Shiba dog one, his name ends with Gami.
Inugami.
I did the
Very
four words
well.
not that long ago, and I still remember
Are-
this.
Really?
Well, and the final one is the fox, the little fox that is friends with Tamamo no Gozen. A clue: the name of this fox is kind of no. Tamamo no Gozen is friends with this hospice. This hospice's name, it's actually based on the kitsune word, but it's a bit different. I mean, it ends with Sune, but the first part of its name, well, his name, is different. No.
I
Kudakitsune! Very well! Very well. I admit this was kind of complicated.
that one was mean. That was a mean set of answers.
I said I was going to play hard. Very well.
This is a whole other level.
Yeah.
This is all Stormblood lore that I know nothing about because I just kind of glossed over it.
Years ago now. As well.
4 years back, 3 years back.
Okay, okay, question number 5. This is a breather, I guess, kind of. Match its Guardian Legatus with their Legion number. Let's start with Neil van Darnus.
That is the 7th.
7th,
Very
yeah.
well. Okay, Gaius van Vulsar.
14.
Very well. Regula van Hydrus.
6.
6.
6th. Very well. Noah van Gavranth.
4th.
4.
Very well.
12. He's from 12.
No.
I know
No.
it's 4th.
At the 4th Legion. Very well. Xenos J. Galvus.
12th.
Very well. Valens van Varro.
7th.
The perv.
Very well. And Nerva J. Galvus.
3rd.
Very well. Oh, well, I told you this one's breather. 6th. I mean, yes, it's a breather. And the 6th question should also be a breather. Should.
Did we go offline?
Name Shadowbringers Light Wardens.
The
We should
Light
still be
Wardens.
live. Is
Ooh.
there a problem?
Yeah. Yeah, I got kicked off.
My end.
That's fine.
Philia,
Oh,
Storage, who's the one in Amarang,
Eros.
and Rakika, yeah. Innocence,
Oh,
obviously.
Innocence, and you're missing one.
Heroes.
Hero-
Tanya.
No,
Yeah, that's
Oh,
Tanya, right.
Tanya, yep. She was.
Okay. The
Fa la 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 la.
question. Fa la 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 la. Okay.
Good way.
You know, when they left Agape out, my mouth was agape.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Rude.
How dare you? I guess you're making up for Neila being absent today. Jesus Christ.
I bet if Warrior of Light had
I
become
can't.
a Light Warden, they would have been Agape.
Onlad.
Okay, 7th question. This might be for the ones of sharpest eyes. Match each calamity with the shard that was rejoined.
Dear
Ooh.
God, I think I wrote this down somewhere.
First Umbral Calamity is the
First Emerald Calamity is the Calamity of Wind.
5th.
Very well, the 5th. Okay, the Calamity of Lightning.
Another one.
Yeah, another one.
It's based on Final Fantasy 12.
Was that Nabs?
Yes,
Oh, yeah, that
It
was
was
the 12th
12th.
very well. It's based on Final Fantasy 12. The 12.
Yep.
The Calamity of Fire.
I think that was the third.
Nope.
It was the
Nope,
second,
I'm wrong.
because it was weird.
Second.
There you go.
It was really
Here's one of
weird.
those.
Yay! Very well. The Calamity of Earth. Which one was this one?
I'm going over the image board in my head that Graha showed us.
Mhm.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to
that's
match
how
the
you get
colors.
things wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Graha lies, dude.
No, it's not.
Is it?
Don't
Is
believe
it the?
Graha's lies.
Is it the third?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Very well. The Calamity of Ice.
Sixth.
Very well. The Calamity of Water.
10th,
Very well. And the Astral Calamity.
7th,
And the Calamity of Light.
1st.
Very well.
Why am I answering like half of these?
It's alright, you win.
Okay. The 8th question. Name the civilizations whose ruins can be found in each region of Eorzea, aside Alag.
Eladia, Nim, Mach,
Gilmora.
Gilmora, yep. Amdapur,
Yes.
Allagan. Well, we said not Allagan, right?
Yeah, not Alag. Alag is everywhere.
Yeah.
Dare I hope Amarat?
No, not yet. This was before. This was before the fanfest. I
Right.
didn't know.
And hopefully soon, Charlene.
Well,
Rip.
technically,
I'm going
in
to give you a clue. Did you? There were ruins in Girabania. Did you say those?
oh,
Scala.
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 Bonnie
yeah.
put it in chat.
And
Yeah.
those in Andravania, which is a civilization.
I guess that would be the original Ishgard.
Yeah, but it has a name. It's actually you learn the name it's in one of the areas of Dravania's forelands.
The landlord
What,
colony.
Avalonia Fallen?
No, Avalonia, very well.
Apollonia.
Very good, Fal. Very good.
And he
That's where I
said
get my
he
maps, by
wouldn't-
the way.
He said he wouldn't get anything right.
Treasure Hunter goes
He
there
knows.
every day.
He knows his Dravania stuff for
You
sure.
got one. You got one. He's
Yeah,
allowed
good
one.
point.
Okay, 9th question. For Dragonspeak connoisseurs, what does the Dragonspeak term Akmorn stand for?
I
A
knew I
pain in the
should've
ass to
studied
heal.
up. Studied up my Dravanian.
Yes!
I want to say. I want
It
to say.
means stacked together and stay stacked.
Yeah, what does Akmorn mean?
I think the literal term,
Dying.
the literal term I think means circle of death, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It's
Or
actually
something
Ak is actually an article. It means death, and mourn is death. It literally means death or the death. It's kind of like when they cast death, and they say it aloud, and it's Akmorn.
That's a really
Are there any
shitty
more
death
questions
spell.
about Dravanian? Because I want to link the dictionary afterwards.
You mean the Dragonspeak
Yes.
dictionary? I think it's in the Loathsome forums.
No, I
There's
have it.
a-
I was going to link it if there are no
Oh,
more
okay.
Dragon Speak questions.
Okay. Anyways, the 10th question. This one's going to be a bit long, but I guess you guys know your those who taught you your arts, because you're going to name all guild masters and job mentors to date of disciples of war and magic. Yes, it
My God, you really?
classes too.
Wow, I can do a couple of these. Wait. So are we doing classes or
Yeah,
jobs?
Repeat the question.
Classes and jobs.
Oh, you're
Okay,
you're a
This is
sadist.
problematic. It changes every 10
You-
levels.
Guild masters and job mentors to date.
All right, so gladiator Mila,
Hello?
conjurer Isumiyan,
I can do Archer very easily because I love her. She's one. Okay.
Dark Knight is Frey for a while, and then it's Sidurgu.
Thaumaturge
Yes.
is Kokabuki and his siblings.
Yes.
Yeah, machinist is Stephanavian, and then Hilda.
Very well. Yes.
is Lalai.
Who?
Lalai
Which one?
and Kuruka for Black Mage.
It's Kokobuki, and
Oh,
for Black Mage
he's following on.
is Lalai. Okay.
Monk is a trap because it's technically the Alamegan guy who teaches you everything, but it's Eric that gives you the quest.
Wildergeld and Eric and those two Makote ladies.
What's the name? What's the name of the Alamegan guy?
Wildergeld.
I don't know.
Very
Right?
well.
And-
Yes.
But Hamon Holyfist gives you the pugilist
But
quest.
that's the pugilist. Yes, Hamon Holyfist. Who's the guild master of the Lancers? Very well.
And also
And the
Yes is in there.
and the axe master of the Marauders Guild.
I didn't see him. He was too busy hitting rocks because they were smaller than him.
Curious Gorge for Warrior and
Curious Gorge.
Curious
Yes.
Gorge.
guy. Right, Gorge, right. Curious Gorge. And then the mountain guy who's Broken Mountain, who's his brother.
Yeah, it's but Curious Gorge is or technically mentor.
Raya Senna for White Mage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rayo Senna, very well.
Summoner, it's Yamhitra, who is Yashtola's
Yes,
sister.
it's Yamitra.
Archer is that asshole in the forest, and before that, the God's Quiver.
Again, Lucian, but
Hey,
also
he's got PTSD. Okay.
Baron Leopold.
What's you're forgetting the guild master of the Rogues Guild.
Jackie.
Jack.
I cannot wait for Soldier to read from him.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's gonna be great. And
Yes.
Overo for Ninja.
Yeah.
And Karasu.
Yeah, well, Karasu.
Yes, Karasu is the real hero of that story.
Yes.
Ninja.
We are forgetting the job mentor for Astrologian.
Laviva.
Lady Laviva and Jan Quinard.
What do you mean, Laviva? It's Lord Rufin.
What about Dargoon?
Yes.
That dude who is really sad who tells you about a Stinian.
I said Dark Knights in chat.
Alberic, Sir Alberic, the
There you go,
Azure
Sir
Dragoon.
Alberic, yes.
The
Yep.
previous Azure Dragoon also.
Albert, yes.
I'm gonna say Shatoto for Black Mage, even though they're only there for a
I
short
mean,
while.
yeah, there's
Lalai.
but Lalai is the host for Shatoto, and then there's also Kukuruka, who's in the earlier parts of Black Mage.
Yeah. And the
cat.
Who's the mentor? Yeah, the cat. Yeah, poor guy. Speaking of cats, who is the job mentor of the Red Mages?
I know
It's
a lot of
Tia.
people. Yeah, I know a lot of people are very
well.
weird.
Now I have one. Blue Mage is Martin, and
Martin.
he's awesome.
Yay!
Martin's a lot of fun.
No.
Oh my God.
No, it's totally Martin. He's running that long con.
And who is the job mentor for scholars?
What are they? The Tomberries.
Tomberries and Alcazulka.
Alcazulka, that's it. But what's
That's
the
it, yeah.
what's the actual
But-
Tomberry's name? Frack. What's his name? I just did that 2 weeks ago. Why can't I remember? My brain doesn't work.
It's been a while since I've done Scholar.
Gunbreaker's Radovan, I think.
Rather,
Rad
yeah.
and Sophie. Yep.
And dancer?
The dance troupe.
No, I don't know. The
cat
trainer
girl.
and the happy cat girl who's just like,
Yeah.
I just want to dance and murder things.
The cat girl is our rival and companion, but who is the actual job mentor? Bonnie should actually know this because she shares the name with the
Yeah, Bonnie.
Empress of Aturgan in Final Fantasy in Final Fantasy 11. I was going to say 9. Do you give up? And I give you the ones that you don't know. Yes, it does start with an N.
Nashmira?
Nashmira, yeah.
Right. I always remembered because she was like referred to as like the principal or something. Kind of like how Genoma is the principal of his playing right organization.
And for Samurai, we have two actually because of
Bozja at the beginning, and then that lady who works for the Sekisegumi.
Sekisegumi, yes. Do you know her name?
That I don't remember as readily.
Okay, should I give you the names of those who those that you haven't mentioned? You give up?
What is her name?
I really like this quest too. Fuck. What is her name?
If any of you have played in first Danganronpa, she shares her name with the main character.
She'd bring up Danganronpa.
I'm hearing the wind.
Does chat now?
Okay, do you give up or?
Guildmaster is, and it's Java.
Is it? Is it? Oh. Is it Makoto?
Yes, Makoto. And you are actually missing the Guildmaster of the Arcanist Guild.
And there's the acting Guildmaster, and then they have one that's like somewhere else.
I remember that
the one at the docks, the lady.
I was playing.
We meet the acting
at the time.
who is a typical
I'm actually asking for the acting Guildmaster because it's the one people.
Yeah, the one that's actually Guildmaster. We only meet him like once and then never again.
Yes, I'm not that evil.
Yes, you are. Don't lie. It's not nice to lie.
Okay, there are actually 3 names that you haven't seen. You haven't said. You give up? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one.
Okay, the ones you didn't say was the Axemaster Wyrmstone of the Marauders Guild. There's the acting Guildmaster Thubergim of Arcanist Guild, and there is Surito Karito of the Tombories of the Scholars of Nim. That's the one you actually didn't remember. But otherwise, pretty far, pretty. It was a good job. Okay, 11th question. Are we ready?
Oh yeah, let's keep going. Definitely.
Okay, name the 12, their epithets, and their month of ascendance.
Their month of ascendance.
Their month? Oh.
Yeah, well, the month they're associated with.
That's.
They're associated with.
Sorry, Cobb. Name the 12, their epithets, and their month of ascendance. If you know in which order, it should be easy enough. Okay.
We can run through the actual gods' names. I'm not gonna have the months.
I'm not going to take part in the 12 naming because we're going to murder them in about 6 months anyway.
I'm gonna make a guess.
The encyclopedia Eorzea right next to me, and I don't want to be like, and open, and here they are.
Do it. Mine's next to me too.
I'm gonna make a guess. Menfina, the lover, first umbral moon.
Yes.
Was I right?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right.
It's technically February, but it's first umbral moon.
Right, exactly. And the reason I remember that is because I've been obsessed with like trying to learn more about the moon for obvious reasons.
Moon's haunted.
Very well. Okay.
I think I might also be able to guess Azima the Warden 8th umbral moon.
No, there's only 6 moons. There's actually 6 moons.
It's 6, 1 in order.
6. Okay, so it would be 6 under moon. Yeah. So 6 under moon, 6th umbral moon for Azima. Okay. Shit.
Azima is an astral moon.
Okay. So maybe she's the 6th astral moon.
No.
All right, now I'm just guessing. Naimea the Spinner is 4th umbral moon?
Naimea the Spinner is the Spinner, but no the 4th umbral moon.
Yeah, I remember their titles.
I'm not popping open my EE.
I don't remember their month. I don't really remember their month associations.
It's because they're not. You have to translate it, so it doesn't stick in your memory.
Right.
I'm not going to pop this book open.
Okay, we have Memphina. We have
Naldthal the Traders. Yes. Thaliak the Scholar.
Very well.
Lindlayan the Navigator. Ashan the Wanderer.
Very well.
Ralgor the Destroyer.
Very well, yes.
Byragot the Crafter? Builder?
No.
Builder.
No, the Builder.
Right.
Yeah.
Halon the Fury.
Very well.
Halone.
Yeah, I know, Halone, but still, I pronounce it as Halon.
Baloney, like baloney.
You're missing
Get out.
2.
Halone is mine.
You're missing 2.
I'm not done yet.
You're
Althik?
missing the 2. Yeah, the 2 are...
Althik the Keeper?
Althik, yes.
And Nafika's title. What is Nafika's title?
I don't know. I just know the blessing.
It's actually used her title as a sword in game, much like false balls.
The matron, right?
There we go. Yeah, that's it.
Matron's teats.
Yes. Okay. So, do you want me to run the months and moons for you?
Yeah, I don't think any of us is going to remember them all. I was lucky to guess the one I did.
Halune is the first astral moon, or January. Memphina is the February, the first umbral moon. Thaliak is March, second astral moon. Nemea, or whatever it's pronounced.
So second umbral moon, right? Second umbral moon.
Nemea is the second umbral moon. Limlane is the third astral moon. Ocean is the third umbral moon. Byragot is the 4th astral moon. Ralgor is the 4th umbral moon, July and August. Azima is September, 5th astral moon.
That is not when my character was born.
Naldthal is October, 5th umbral moon. What's a coincidence?
Need to work on that cough.
Yeah, that cough. It just keeps coming back.
I actually have COVID.
Wow. So nonchalant about that. That was
on point.
I'm glad that was on recording because I'm gonna make something out of that.
No figure
is soundboard. Congratulations.
Congratulations, she killed us.
Nofika is November, 6th astral moon, and Althik is December, the 6th umbral moon. Okay.
So, one question.
Yes.
How thick is all thick?
He's all thick.
Right there with you.
That's
Right there
actually,
with
that's
you.
actually a good question.
It's a curious question.
Very well. 12th question. Should we go?
Sure.
Match its job with their nation of origin. Let's go. I'm going to-
Astrologian, Charlayan.
This is in dispute, isn't it?
City-states and 12 associations, correct?
Mhm.
Right? Or are we talking? Oh, we're talking about jobs.
Jobs, yes. Paladin from
Isn't
Paladin's Uldan.
Ulda, yeah.
Yeah.
so it would
what are
be
you asking
Nalsdal.
exactly?
Yeah. I'm asking because each job has a nation of precedence of their discipline was originated in a certain nation. Could be one of the city states. Could be a past nation.
Right.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
In that case,
do we also include classes in that, or just jobs?
Only jobs. Only jobs.
Okay. Black Mage is Mock. Nim was the origin of Scholar.
Yes.
Red Mage was originally from after Mock, Nim, and Amdapur, so it's almost like a mix of all three.
the guild that the Red Mage comes from is in Alamigo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, technically it's Girabania because it was never actually being said that it's under Alamigan government. So for that, I kind of separate
just gonna go
that
with region on
Alamigo
that.
for
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Samurai
Okay.
Hingashi.
White Mage is Amdapur.
Very well.
Ninja's Doma.
Yes.
Although,
Yeah, I know the quest line, but
Summoner is Alag.
Yes.
Summoner's Alag. Very
I
well.
love that, like tangentially, Alag being the summoner state when it's so high tech.
Yeah.
Mhm. And they were so anti-summoning then.
Yeah.
Warrior's a little weird because it comes from that Hellsguard village originally, doesn't it?
But where is it
Well,
located?
That's in
The mountains.
It's in Abelathia's spine, like way in the north part of it.
That's Dravania, actually. But I
Yeah.
take Abelathia's spine.
We never see it though.
Dragoon is
Dark Knight?
Ishgard.
And Dark
Yep, Dragoon is Ishgard. Dark Knight is also Ishgard?
Yes, it is. As is Machinist.
Yeah, Machinist is also.
Is Guardian too. Very well. That's something actually a lot of people consider Machinist should be Guardian. It's actually not, because the discipline of Machinist is born in the Sky Seal manufactory. That's
Yeah.
Guardian all the way.
Gunbreaker is Bozja.
Very
Yes.
well. Dancer.
Dancer is Radzit
Abner.
Abner.
Very well. And Bard. This one's tricky.
Gelmora? Question mark? Not Gridania. I know it's not Gridania. I mean, it kind of is, but
it's not. It's actually older than that.
right. That's why I was like, it can't be Gridania because it's older than
Do
that.
you remember the Bard quest line?
No.
Yes.
Where the-
Yes, I do.
remember hating it.
No, I do, and I'm like, maybe it's Avalonia?
No. Where does it take the what's the last place the Heavensward Bard quest line take us?
Sure, go see Sea of Clouds.
Yes.
Right, so it's actually the Mughals.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
Mughals invented it.
And Dragoon, I was going to make a point that technically Dragoon, as we know it, is Guardian, but in Estinian's Tale from the Storm, I think,
that's right.
Reisvolver tells him that the discipline is actually the Dragon Riders of Avalonia. So Dragoon
That's pretty cool.
It's super cool. You should all read it, chat.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's why in
I'll
chat,
link it, who cares?
it depends on how you want to look at it, if it's Ishgard or Avalonia.
Is that the one where he gets his armor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
The 13th one is going to be quick if you remember this thing. Name the 4 cardinal virtues of Shadowbringers.
Oh, Shadrow, Thirsty Lala.
I mean the senator name is not the, not the name.
Swear to God.
They're Greek words.
Their names just make my brain go.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Mhm.
I missed the question. I'm sorry.
The
Cardinal
name the
virtues.
4 cardinal virtues of
Oh,
Shadowbringers.
great.
Okay, Sinosine?
No.
Sinosine for Lamet?
Two of them end with sign or scene. depending.
Okay. Oh, damn. Okay.
Isn't one of them? Aren't they like actual virtues, like justice?
Kind of. One of them actually literally means temperance. The other one means courage, and the other two I'm actually right now not sure.
It's not among them, or is it? Or is he?
Who?
Ardbert is not among them, is he?
No,
He
Albert.
was never raised until he was taken over by Elidibus.
But Elidibus is not a cardinal virtue, so.
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to refer to Pez on this one. One of them is named Dick Shine.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's not its name, but it's actually.
I mean, it's close enough.
Oh, okay. I remember Granson's one now. It's Takayo sign.
Exactly.
Takayo sign. Poor Granson.
Is one of them? Was one of them Lamimi?
Well, yes, but
I remember Neil Baird's better now too because it was very memorable for me. It's Phronesis.
Phronesis, yes, very well.
The Kaiosine and Andrea are the only ones I remember.
Oh, Andrea's Branda Ray.
All of them then, yeah.
Okay, so the other sign one must be Lamet then. What is it again?
Yeah, I'm in the minority where I actually didn't like the healer role quest very much. So I don't remember that one like at all.
How dare you? How dare you insult Giat?
Sulfurosine.
Sulfurosine, very well.
Right, I did her quest not that long ago, and I cried again.
Very well.
You're forgiven for not liking it, Bonnie.
And the 14th
No,
question
you're not.
is a breather, and I think you're going to enjoy all of you to take place on the last question of this trivia. Match the convocation of 14 seat titles with their epithet and their zodiac sign.
Oh God.
Oh God, do we even have all their seat titles?
We don't.
I don't think we do. Okay.
Leo is Fandaniel.
Okay. Shit.
Bao and I have gone over this so many times.
Right.
There you go. I'll leave it to you.
Dudalafon the Benevolent is...
Yes.
Shit. Taurus?
Yes.
I'm going to let other people...
No. The Delaphon is the Benevolent, but not Taurus. It's something with Taurus, though.
Let's get the low-hanging fruit. Emmett Selk is Gemini.
Right. That one I always remember because it's so appropriate.
I'm letting other people answer because I've talked about this so many times. So,
do you know Emmett Selk's epithet?
Yeah, the Angel of Truth.
Very well.
Okay, you're going to go
these are from 12.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if we're going lore-wise,
yeah,
we don't
but I mean,
have
like,
all the epithets, but...
Yeah, but like, Lahabre is the speaker, and Elidibus is the emissary. Like, we don't have their 14.
Yeah, we don't have their full... We don't have their 14 titles. We don't have their full roles. We don't even know technically completely what Emmett's is in that sense. Like, we don't have his job
In that sense,
role.
No, we don't know.
Yes, we have the fanon that he's the architect, but he's not.
No,
he's the architect of myriad empires, but he's not.
I don't really buy into the architect
he's
thing.
Not that.
I don't either. Hithlodeus was the administrator of the bureaucrat.
Exactly, but their association was what made people think that he was also an architect.
Okay. Okay,
so just to clarify, Meowth, are we using the FF12 epithets for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Except that
Igiorum the Martyr.
Okay,
okay. And her what's her zodiac sign?
I don't know the constellations.
I'm trying to remember these now.
Letting other people answer.
Oh, come on, just say
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, the archer, because her mask is shaped like a...
We already got... Okay, so we got Igiorum, we got Fandaniel, We got Emmett. We got to do the others.
Yeah, Nabrialis, Scorpio.
Library is Pisces.
And he's
Nabrialis is the Majestic.
very
Logric
close.
is Aries. Metron is Taurus.
Yes.
Metron is the Chastiser.
Very well. And
Ashtaroth, the
Logriff?
Night Star.
Logriff is the Transcendent.
Very
Fan Daniel, the
Ashtaroth
Protector.
is the Night Star. What's
Emirolov, I remember because I did this for Ayumi not long ago. Emirolov is Holy Queen Aquarius.
Very well.
Yes.
Mm.
Astra,
Fan-
Night Star, and Cancer.
Very
Cancer.
well.
Fan Daniel, the Protector, and Leo.
Very well. Very well.
Halmarut, the Dude, Libra.
Yeah.
The dude.
Well, it's just like your opinion, man.
I'm actually going to take that for valid.
Did we get Logriff?
We did.
No.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
He
It
sent
was
them as a
earlier, yeah.
prayer.
Okay.
Never mind then.
What about Ultima?
Ultima, yes.
The High Seraph Virgo.
Yeah, Esper got that in
doesn't
chat.
have a title because
doesn't have-
Ultima is the Japanese. Well, it's actually the first tactics kind of sketchy romanization of Ultima. So Ultima doesn't have an opposing sign because Ultima didn't have an opposing sign in.
And Ultima is Virgo, correct?
Yes.
Ultima's Virgo.
Okay.
She's meant to be the holy equivalent of Zodiac. That's why
Right.
neither of them
Yeah,
have.
yeah, basically.
Huh.
Awkward.
There's
Lavrea, Abyssal Celebrant,
Very well.
one.
Pisces.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because now it's like we're running down what's left of the Zodiac.
Dudalathon, the Benevolent, and
Yeah.
Capricorn, because his opposite is a Dromalek.
Right.
Well,
Right.
and
Doesn't Elidibus have Doesn't Elidibus have one?
Keeper of
Ophiuchus.
Precepts.
a little bit,
Right.
yes, but he is kind of similar to Ultima in that regard. I listed two possibilities here: the unknown epithet and the emissary, simply because we've been drilled that he is a little bit emissary.
Right.
Again, that's
I'm
his
taking
job.
valid then.
Like that's his.
Yeah.
What did we hire you for? That's all that is.
Right. And then Azem
I
doesn't
mean-
have one, essentially.
As
Traveler.
well,
But
yes.
he's not one of the 12 in the chart.
No, but I said match the convocations 14 or the convocation of 14.
Right.
And I mean, Azem is the sun, so a little different.
Yeah. Assam I listed as two possibilities, being one the traveler and one the wanderer. Simply because I personally like the wanderer much because weary wanderer, you have no life left to life, no fight left to fight, but the traveler works as well.
I like to think that the 12, if they're at all based on the convocation, which is implied, that their various roles and everything else was kind of like in a blender of memory, and that Ashan got the wanderer element of what would have probably otherwise gone to Azima. in that sense.
Do you know Ocean, the Wanderer, to whom he is brother in the 12? To Nalthal.
Ha!
So yeah, I'm sure the 12 is basically a clusterfuck of a convocation. Did we actually mention the zodiac sign of Elidibus?
Ophiuchus.
Ophiuchus.
The snake bearer.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones that I put in chat.
Right.
Very well. And that's it.
All right.
I think I was perhaps too evil.
No.
It was fun.
No, it's fun,
Entertaining.
and I mean, it's good to keep us on our toes.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, you and the chat pretty much answer well all of these, and that's actually what we and I mean of the crew. Only Neila and I had the answers to these, and we were supposed to be co-hosting this together, but Neila is kind of sick, so kind of fell on my shoulders. But anyways, the
I should
thing
have
was
DM'd you to swap out one of the questions with the one from FanFest last weekend or the weekend before, however long it's been now, for the freaking question that like everyone, including chat on all 3 platforms, was failing?
What
Just
question?
spit in your microphone.
If there's a barrier of fire, what element do you use to dispel the barrier?
What, ice or water or something?
Nope.
Earth.
Wind? Not any of
Not
those.
Earth.
Not wind.
It's wind.
And okay. Throw it
Oh,
out.
to put out
I
fire.
did, yes.
I can't believe no one looked at the elemental chart,
You
and
know how
I'm
to
so
blow it,
disappointed F this missed that.
It was really funny. Like, I was laughing my ass off while I was watching that segment because, like, I was like, you can tell who has or hasn't done Eureka or has, like, wiped it from their brain if they did do it by
Right,
what
that
they
was
answered
me.
that question
You
with.
know,
I've wiped
I haven't done Eureka, but I play Final Fantasy Brave Exvius War Divisions, and the elemental chart is essentially the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, that was the trivia. Did you have fun?
Yes.
I had fun being annoyed.
Ha 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 ha.
So bad.
Okay. So, should we move on to what's our topic today?
Yes, Bozja.
Yeah, where do we even
Yes.
want to start with
This is a
Bozja?
tough
Actually-
one because we could go back to Ivalice and Stormblood. We could summarize the quests just as
Let's
they
go
are.
back to Stormblood or to Ivalice
Mhm.
because that's where it originally started with the quest line.
Hey, go me, because it actually took the trivia pretty much exactly an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean,
let's
like, yeah.
let's begin with what happened in Ivalice, really, because as far as we knew, as far as what happened at the end, we saw Gabranth take. You saw him in. I think it was when we.
He was in
Yeah.
Rogue.
He was in
Yeah.
Ritterana Lighthouse in the.
Was it
upper
at the end of Ritterana or was it at the end of?
I think it was at the end of our
We
It was
saw
at the very end of the raid series.
He's at the end of Ivalice, but we actually see him physically in Ritterana, looking around at the
Yes.
old Rogue architecture and like the constructs, and had his scientists sifting through it.
Yeah. So
Also,
he was taking Construct 7.
Also, when Bagamnon was having hallucinations produced by the Duma, the Taurosaurusite, he actually saw Saskabrand.
He did. And he had the weapons, his signature weapons too, the twin blades,
Yep.
which he can attach and use as a
A blade
Volg.
sword.
Volg.
Yeah.
Now, after that happened, we see him again at the start of the Bozja storyline, and he's actually in one of the capitals of, I think it's Dalmasca.
Not really. It's actually the capital city of the region of Naxia, and it's well named.
Right, that's it. It is, yeah. And from there, we can see he begins talking about his plans. What's interesting, though, is his attitude has shifted dramatically from when we saw him in the Ritterana Lighthouse to when we see him talking about his plans there. We see him talk about his radiance in the lighthouse to himself and his plans for the future using the primals, and we don't see any talk about his radiance whatsoever.
It's possible that he's being influenced by the Orsite altogether. I don't know if I actually said that well.
No, you did.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. That was correct.
So because that has me thinking that because we know, as far as we know, though, he's carrying the remaining Orosites. As far as we know, it's left. And that is almost proven to us, because as you go through Bozja, you begin to see more and more of his troops carrying these. For instance, when you go into... what's the Castrom's name?
From Lacus Latore.
Lacus Latore.
We see Dramelech at the middle.
Yep, we see a Dramelech.
Yeah,
and
LereLinesXIV is the one who transforms into a Dramelech.
Yeah, Abelio.
And he actually, his text actually gives you a hint right beforehand. The heavens are something, and they are wroth indeed. Because Dramelech is known as the Wroth.
Yes. He actually, when he transforms, literally quotes by quote what Dice Dark Violv said when he transformed into a Dramelech in Fantasy Tactics. So this is what it feels like to become a god. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I love Ivalice, just don't mind me.
We're not minding you. So, moving from that, Castrum Lacus Latore to DR, there's no aura site in DR that we know of. We know that there's the Save the Queen quest line, which is an entirely separate beast, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, next week. That's an entirely separate. I think we should talk about from like the end of Ivalice to Castrum Lacus Latore.
Just a note, Ayumi, in the Lubrum Regina, there is aura site involved, just not in the Esper way. The members of the Resistance, they are fused that way because Misija used aura site with them.
Oh yeah, I was getting to that, but thank you for talking for me.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I didn't mean to.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Gosh, now I lost my train of thought. Darn it. Someone else speak for me.
Sure.
Chicken butt.
The Ivalice questline teases us a little bit with the Gabaranth and his legion and everything, and then they kind of drop the ball for Shadowbringers until after we complete the main story, which makes total sense. But at that point, we pick up the Resistance quests and learn a bit more about the Meteor Project and all of this.
Let's start out with, because we all know what happened with. We talked about Bozja.
Yes.
A while ago, but we didn't really touch on what happened in Bozja. And it actually is a part of Sid's past, quite a big part of Sid's past, because we actually go into his memories. Makoto actually brings us into his memories using the aura sites that she, for some reason, and that's another thing about
therapy crystal.
The Allergen therapy
crystal. Thank you for that. That's amazing.
It's interesting to know that she has the powers like that to actually go ahead and dive into people's memories. Which leads me to believe that we'll do the same thing coming up in this next part. And what we did in the solo instance there is we kind of relived what all kind of went through Sid's mind as he went to try and stop his father from interacting with and calling down the Dalamud satellite. And in fact, let me pull this back up here and read the excerpt from Bozja on it. I know it's Charlene propaganda. You be quiet.
It's the best we have.
It is.
That actually highlights how fucked the world is.
So we all know the Meteor Project, how that was kind of first drafted, and then it failed as a result. But Nail Van Darnus was the one who tried to revisit it and said that there was a better way, another way. So, the Meteor Project was soon drafted up, and the tantalizing prospect of an all-powerful weapon was met with a broad approval within the Imperial Court. Mere days after receiving the Emperor's blessing, Non-Garland would travel to the Garlean city of Bozja to conduct the first attempt to communicate with Dalamud. The immensity of the satellite's power was indeed confirmed that day, but at a disastrous cost. Nearly 5 millennia worth of amassed energy was directed by the moon to the Citadel's makeshift transmission tower. Now, at this point, Garlean scientists thought that, oh, well, no, we have this transmission tower, we can harness it, we can channel it, we have enough technology to, keep it in check, basically. What they didn't realize was this was interacting with the satellite was interacting with Allegan technology that was vastly superior in every way, shape, and form, even though they were centuries beforehand. The only way of really interacting with Dalamud was to use the Crystal Tower, which they did not have the ability to at that time. Because as Grahatia states in 5.3, it's to harness and bind the boundless and stores limitless energy of the heavens. So, anyone else want to add to this before I go on?
Go on ahead.
That kind of sums it up.
Yeah,
I will say, even the Crystal Tower couldn't handle the energy from Dalamud because that's what caused the earthquake.
Right.
That's true. That is true. It was directed to there, and then it shot straight into the ground and caused the third. I'm continuing on before I start thinking of other things. So the beam emitted by Dalamud was so intense that not only the tower, but the entire city was evaporated in an instant. Efforts were made by the Imperial censors to hide the event from public scrutiny, but the vanishing of a major commercial center was too big a secret to suppress. News of the catastrophe quickly spread across Heidelin and later became known as the Bozja incident. So when you go into Bozja itself, you can actually, from the base camp, when you go out to the open area to your right, you can actually see the citadel, what remains of it, of Bozja. There's a giant crater, a giant blue crater. And the buildings atop the second floor open area of Bozja have their tops completely melted still. So you can see the results of the mass impact from the energy. They can be felt all around, and you can see what's that kind of destruction, how much this really affected the surrounding area with. And during the solo instance, of course, Sid interacts with his father, trying to get him to stop the Meteor Project from advancing, but it's too late for him as Midas is already tempered from interacting with the satellite, and Bahamut's will was enforced upon him. Anyone else want to add to this, or?
To the Bozja incident or the instance in which we go into?
The instance. We'll start at the instance.
I found something interesting. This was 5.1 or 5.51. I mean, I don't really. I think it was quite early.
I think it was 0.1 when they introduced this content.
Okay.
But I can't remember if it was 1.5 for the actual instance or not.
Usually, I think these things usually come in the point XIV anything. I don't know how do you say it. The thing is, I found interesting how two things. how Sid's mind kept concealing that it was his father that shot him. First, his father's memory transformed into Emperor Solus, and then transforms into Varys, and it's Varys who we fight. And second, this is actually, if this is 5.1, we were treated to a taste of the Warrior of Light pulling NSM, you know? Because before the fight with Varys, we have the option of summoning the Scions to our side, memory-wise. And, you know, later comes 5.3 and we get this in real life, but it was a really nice foreshadowing thing, you know?
It was.
I agree, yeah. It's also interesting that we do this in Mikoto's... I mean, she's the one casting the illusion, but we're the one operating lucidly inside.
I'm going to go ahead and kind of elaborate a little bit further on the Bosnian incident and the Bosnian kind of like the cover-ups. So Bosnia was actually one of the many territories conquered by the Garland Empire during its campaign of global conquest. Bosnia is actually located, I believe is it?
North Dalmask, I think.
Yes. In the center of the city was the Bosnia Citadel, which served as the Empire's stronghold. In the year 1562 of the 6th Astral Era, Bosnia Citadel came to host the Empire's Meteor Project, led by Midas. Now, under the guidance of Midas, the Garleans had discovered that the lesser moon, Dalamud, was not a natural celestial body.
That's
So,
no moon.
Yeah, it's a space station.
That's no moon.
But actually an artificial satellite of elegant origin. Non-Garland surmised that within the moon slumbered a massive amount of untapped energy. So they didn't know that they primal slept within that. They just thought, oh, there's energy there. Let's get it. With the Empire's attempted conquest... What?
I mean, they were like that, except probably Emperor Solus, who was probably like, oh god, not this again.
Facepalm, yeah. With the Empire's attempted conquest of Eorzea stymied by their defeat of the Battle of Silvertear Skies, which ended horribly, by the way, Non-Garland proposed Dalamud as an alternative method of paving the way for the conquest of Eorzea by pulling the moon down on the Eorzeans' heads like the Empire's own meteor. What a plan.
I still beg her to understand why Emmett, as late-term Solus, was like, yeah, sure, just drop a moon on it. He knew it was in there.
I mean, I always question that, and I chalk it to simply being
like they got a rejoining. They got a rejoining out of it, but like, I don't know. It just seems very inelegant for him.
I mean, putting my tinfoil hat on for a second, they just barely missed Silvertear Lake, so I kind of wonder if he was hoping that they drop it on Silvertear specifically and break the seal fully.
Yeah, there's a thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
My question was perhaps because it was the meteor thing. Yes, that perhaps it may have missed Silvertear Lake, but at the same time, it was this what unearthed the Crystal Tower. So perhaps there was this viewing ahead that the Crystal Tower needs to re-emerge for something.
Yeah, like it unearthed the Crystal Tower and it unearthed a ton of stuff in Cartno Flats because like there is a lot of debris from Dalamud itself in Cartno, but a lot of it is also just stuff that was unearthed by Big Fingo Boom.
I mean,
Meteor go burr. Meteor go burr.
Yeah, meteor go burr.
Wow.
Also, I mean,
Limit break a switchy.
Exactly.
How?
I want that guitar.
Anyways, the thing is that I mean, seems kind of inelegant, but in hindsight, it's kind of it actually made a lot of it meant a lot of things. It unearthed the Crystal Tower. It unearthed the Carton of Flats stuff. And it also forced Luisua to transform into Phoenix and revitalize the land. So, I mean, I'm not saying this was all Emmett Silk's plan, but it worked in the end, in a sense.
It did work out in the end.
Yeah, basically what I get from this is Emmett Silk went to the Indiana Jones School of Archaeology.
Yes. The hands of fate train ahead.
Jeez.
Continuing on, though, to this end, Non-Garlon sought to make contact with Dalamud using an Allegan lunar transmitter donated by House Darnus. How thoughtful. The scientists successfully communicated with Dalamud, and its power was confirmed at a terrible cost, as nearly 5,000 years' worth of pent-up energy was directed at the transmission tower. The beam was so intense that not only the tower, but the entire surrounding city of Bozja was evaporated in an instant, killing Non-Garland and all of the city's inhabitants. Literally miles away, just miles and miles away, houses were just evaporated. And like I said earlier, you can actually go to the second upper level of the Bosnian area, and you can see them. They are just completely, the tops of them are just completely melted back. With the loss, efforts were made by the Empire to cover up the event, but the destruction of a major commercial center was too big to hide. And so news of the catastrophe soon spread across Heidelin and became known as the Bozja Incident. The details behind the incident remained unknown to those outside the Imperial Command for years. With the loss of Midas and the lunar transmitter, Solus Zos Galvus deemed Dalamud too unpredictable to harness, and Project Meteor was scrapped. But it was picked up 10 years later by Nail, Legatus of the 7th Legion, and he convinced Emperor Solus that he had discovered a way to control a satellite. Allah.
Sure you did, buddy. It's not like I built it or anything. Let's go with it.
Allowing Van Darnus to reopen the project. So Van Darnus succeeded where Non-Garlon had failed during the Battle of Cartano, though not in the way that anyone had foreseen, for the massive energy housed within Dalamud was revealed to be the Elder Primal Bahamut. Freed from the Allegan prison that was Dalamud, Bahamut caused massive devastation across Eorzea, bringing about the 7th Umbral Calamity. Cid Non-Garland, the son of Midas, who was considered a prodigy among Garlemald's scientific community, had become increasingly concerned with his father's obsession with Project Meteor and tried to warn him about the massive energy readings he was finding from the lunar transmitter in the final days before the incident, only to be violently rebuffed. After his father's death, and in growing disillusionment with the Empire's warlike ways, Cid chose to defect to the Eorzean Alliance, where he founded Garland Ironworks. Origin story. Lost in the destruction of the Bozja Citadel were Gunhilder's blades, legendary weapons once held by the elite royal guards of Bosnian Queen Gunhilder. With the techniques behind their creation lost with the weapons, the Bosnian resistance recruited aetherology expert Mikoto Jinba to develop a means of diving into one's memories of Bosnia that they might lay eyes on the weapons before their destruction. Cid was used as a test subject. They actually created new weapons based on the blades called resistance weapons, which is what you guys wield today. During
and they're actually turning into a Judge Magister weapon, so...
Right. And Judge Armor.
You could touch on the significance of that if you wanted.
I mean, right now or later?
During Alice and the Warrior of Light's investigations into the binding coils of Bahamut, they learned that Nail Van Darnus had been tempered by Bahamut, explaining his obsession with the Meteor Project in its final days. Later, the Warrior of Light, Mikoto, and Cid learned that Midas had suffered the same fate when they were exploring Cid's memories of Bozja. Who wants to talk about this? I see crickets.
We're talking about, in particular, the memory of that
Yes.
moment just prior to the Bozja incident.
Yes.
My most memorable part of that, aside from briefly seeing old Solus, which was like, wait, what? was also seeing that like Midas was tempered, but like that he was also like that he was willing to draw a gun on his own son. Like that was like a really impactful moment of like, yeah, tempering is so fully ingraining in that person once it's actually taken hold that they're willing to kill their own child just to fulfill the wishes of the primal. I don't think we'd ever like really seen that depth of like intention in tempering before that point.
No, not at all.
And Sid actually blocked that memory under. Well,
Like it was traumatic for him.
It was.
Certainly would be.
But I think that at the same time for Sid was kind of a relief to know and learn that his father actually didn't shoot him because he didn't love him. It was just because it was out of his control at that point. He wasn't his father anymore. He was the will of Bahamut. So I think it was at the same time, it was actually a way of healing for Sid, because he had thought that his father shot him, but in truth, it was not his father's will.
And it was interesting to see the weapons for the first time too housed there. And to be fair, to be truthful, wasn't that our like confirmed? I wouldn't say it was like our first time, but like our actual like concrete evidence that blue eyes mean tempering.
I think we kind of discussed that during that. Do you guys recall when we were still private chat in Discord and
Yes.
we were discussing the temperate guy from 5.4 trailer?
Yeah, it was
Right.
really interesting.
Glory be to Garlemald guy,
Yeah.
which was reminiscent of also like Glory to the Queen, those individuals who got tempered at the end of Lacus Latour.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I don't think anyone really remembers seeing tempered eyes before all the Bozja stuff, but you do technically see it in coils.
Yeah,
Like,
Neila looks like
different
red
colors.
eyes.
And I can't remember if we see glowing eyes for tempered during ARR when we meet that person
see
that's tempered
them-
by Ifrit.
We see them
No.
before Bozja, though. We see them in Stormblood's 4.1 when the Ananta Brood Mother summons Lakshmi and in the middle of the Alamigan Palace.
I'll have to pull that up in game because I want to look at that, because something that I noted when I was hyper focused on Glory Be to Garlemald guy and the Bozja stuff from specifically the trailer before 5.4 released, people were saying that the guy in the trailer was going to be related to Bozja, and I was like, no, there's no way. And then, we get into the patch. Obviously, that's the case, but the texture used for their tempering eyes is different for the people who are tempered by the towers versus people who are tempered by the sword.
Bahamut's tempering was had a different effect too.
Yeah. It's all really subtle, but all the same colors.
Incredibly subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I'd like to actually go over some of Gunhilder's blades, because I mentioned before that there was these people called the Bozjan Resistance, which was formed basically to kind of fight against the remaining Imperial legions that still existed in Garlemald and that still existed in Bozja, and were holding the area. Now, during the Evilise quest line, going into the Save the Queen quest line, we noticed that the 4th Legion had kind of moved in and was after the Gunhilder's blades. But the Resistance was defending them, and I don't know if they were trying to take them back or not, or just trying to beat them to it. Actually, let me go over, because I have my game open. I actually have each of the members.
If I may,
Go ahead.
If I recall correctly, the original blades were lost in the Bozja whoopsie, and that's why actually Mikoto needs to get into Sid's memories to see what they look like. And after the first Bozja instance, when we get Gerald to forge a number of weapons, I assume it's when we're introduced to the Bozjan Southern Front, and we learn of these chosen warriors of the resistance that are allowed to wield replicas of these weapons.
I actually have it pulled up here too.
So technically, we're not wielding the actual blades,
they're replicas.
They're replicas, and the reason they work is supposed because they're sacred engravings that the weapons have, combined with, of course, probably Gerald's crafting abilities and whatever it may have been. The usual memories of the defeated and all kind of grinding stuff. But Gonulder's blades are actually wielding replicas in battle in the Southern Front, and that.
Yes. So I'm going to go back a little bit and go to the 4th Imperial Legion. So we're going to take a step away from Bozja and go back to what Gabranth and company kind of did. So the 4th Imperial Legion is one of the armies of the Garland Empire, led by Noah von Gabranth. And it's based in the former kingdom of Dalmasca. It was tasked with overseeing its occupation as well as ruling Nangsha and Bozja in the empire's name. Bosch von Gabranth originally commanded the 4th. He achieved rank through skill and his loyalty to the empire rather than being a pure-blooded Garlean. He was not native. He led the imperial conquest of Bozja when his health took a turn for the worse 30 years ago in the middle of the Dalmasca invasion. His son, Noah, was given the command of the Legion only at the age of 20 years old, one of the youngest ever to do so. The 4th set itself apart from the rest of the legions by being comprised primarily of non-native Garleans, mainly conscripts. Their preference is to not use Magitech and their unwavering loyalty to Noah over the Empire. He was set aside from most of the legions. He was unique. As leader of the 4th Legion, Noah von Gabranth led his legion against the Kingdom of Dalmasca with airships. After seizing many cities, only the Nalbina fortress remained, halting the invaders with a magical barrier. For half a year, the Legion laid siege to the fortress, eventually conquering it at the cost of 70,000 Dalmascan soldiers. 2 years after the fall of Rabanastre, Bosch passed away and Noah was promoted to legatus of the 4th. Many believe it was the conquest of Dalmasca that earned him his position, but others argue that he was appointed at the recommendation of Sos Galvus, Emperor Sos Galvus, out of recognition for his father's service. For 30 years, and this is mentioned actually in the Ivalice questline, 30 years, the Empire struggled to contain violent uprisings, eventually culminating in the infamous Barheim incident that claimed countless lives. Unable to reassert control, Noah turned to the 14th Imperial Legion for assistance, which is Gaius's legion, actually. When Varius Solus Galvus became the Emperor of Garlemald after Solus's passing, he appointed Noah and the 4th to quell uprisings in the remote provinces after Doma and Alamigo successfully seceded, and as if to keep them at arm's length. Marsac believes Varys suspected ulterior motive from how the Gabranths sought to gain such fervent adoration of the 4th Imperial Legion's troops. He did not really trust them, which is an interesting thought.
I don't think I would either, honestly. I mean, like, from the beginning, they really did seem like they wanted to build their own successor to Landis, which was originally where they were from when it was conquered under Solus's time.
Definitely.
technically Landis was never conquered. Landis was the Republic of Landis, as we are told, is kind of. I mean, I think it's located in northern Irthabard, but closer to
Northeast,
perhaps
I think.
Northeast. Yeah,
I think.
probably is. I think it's probably a mountainous region, also perhaps quite abundant in wildlife, because we learned through the Bozja files that it was the land that Landis is the region of origin of the Beastmaster job, let's say, for now. So Leon Ramhelsos is from Landis too, and there are many Beastmasters in the Fourth Legion. But Landis, actually, if I recall correctly, Bash Bangabrand was ruler of Landis at their time, and then the Guardians came to say hi. And probably, as it usually happened in Roman Empire, when they were kind of, okay, we want to not take over, but we want you to be part of our empire. You have two options: either join us or be annihilated. And Vashvangabrath actually chose to join willingly to the Guardian Empire. I mean, it was something that was usually done because practicality. I mean, in terms of submitting, it was kind of a two-way deal. Like, you get protection from the bigger state, and the only thing you have to do is letting them build some things, and in case of uprisings or something going bad, you have to answer to the big state. But otherwise, it's a two-way deal of trading and cultural exchange, so it's not that bad,
I don't know.
I mean,
I think that kind of papers over a few of the things, like, for example, we're going to take all of your military-age men and women, and we're going to take your resources, and we're going to take...
I'm not saying it was perfect.
Like, there's a lot of things that they get out of the deal.
I mean, it's not perfect, but I think it was preferable probably to Landis and Bashbangabran when waiting. I can't pronounce. Sorry. Considering the pros and cons of the whole situation, I mean, I think it's fair to think, well, I might spare my citizens of a war,
Right. So I'm going to move on to a hotly debated topic here, because I know this name comes up quite a bit among us. Recently, Sicinius Malvelutus, the senior engineer of the 4th Magitex detachment, had been working on restoring ancient machina from Gaug, the city of the Garlean's ancestors, for use by the 4th. There are also rumors that the 4th had obtained lost knowledge of the Allegan Empire. This scene is actually a scene in-game when you complete the Evilly storyline. Gabranth is, like I said earlier, he's speaking with Sicinius about the Magitech and the construct that they are requisitioning from the instance itself. Unknown to his superiors, Novan Gabranth possessed an agenda of his own, separate from the Empire's, as he was gathering his ancestors' knowledge. Noah long knew that the Empire was fated to fall, and wanted to establish an even grander and mightier nation in its place, made possible by the very power Garlemald abhors. I wonder what that could be. Let's talk about Sicinius Malvelutus for a moment.
You mean not Olus Malacina?
Totally not.
You're actually reading this from the files in game, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually quite interesting because I was listening to you reading, and there's the Goog part, and there's and in the files it's labeled as, if I understood correctly, as the city of Garlemald's ancestors. Like, it's confirming it. It's kind of confirming the Lexentale's theory. Because if you recall, during the Evolution, during the Readrunner questline, this thing actually came up as Genomics sent Lexentail and Ramsa and his son theory, not a confirmed thing. But if you're reading this from the files, perhaps we now have confirmation that the Gugans were the Garlean's ancestors.
Yes.
Okay.
I actually had forgotten who spoke those lines. We've talked about it so many times, and I've just assumed it was a Garlean speaking. Was it Gabranth who says ancestors, or was it?
Yes.
So this is curious because
it was Gabranth. Yes.
Maybe then it's not the Garleans at all. It's the Landis people. It's interesting.
Well, I mean, technically, it could be at large the northern Ilsebard, be it the north. I mean, I guess when you have an exodus and you spread, of course, I assume people would end up in Garlemald, and maybe this place would end up.
So there's probably the case that both Garlemald and Landis can trace their ancestry back to the same source.
Yes.
It's an interesting thought.
Which might also have explained why they were so willing to submit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and speak on Sicinius because he is also a key member, I would say, of the Bozja storyline because he comes up quite a bit later. Sicinius honed his skills as a researcher in the Resonatorium in the service of Lord Aulus Masina. There it is. When the facility was decommissioned after the fall of Alamigo and the findings of his team transmitted to Garlemald, the accomplished Sicinius received orders to return to the Imperial capital. He rebuffed his superior's advances, however, and instead requested a transfer to the 4th Legion, which he knew to be in pursuit, and if the rumors were true, already in possession of lost reliquaries and forbidden knowledge of ancient Allag. The 4th, for their part, having heard whispers of Sicinius's consummate aptitude as a Magitech engineer, had extended an invitation for him to join their ranks, making the two a natural fit. Upon joining the Legion, his talents were quickly recognized by Legatus Gabranth and his second-in-command and leader of the archaeological expedition, Meninus Rem Lenatus. Profoundly moved by Gabranth's vision for a new nation, Sicinius swore an oath of loyalty and was thus rewarded with his current position of senior engineer. In recent days, he continues his research with yet greater zeal in hopes of restoring ancient war machina and other technology recovered from the Readrunner Lighthouse, which stands in the Valnard Sea in the southern reaches of Dalmasca. Sicinius began his experimentation with these so-called laborer class models, and it's believed that the project had progressed to a point where he is looking to deploy these new machines on the field of battle. Indeed, it is said that he volunteered to depart for the front lines of the war against the Bosnian resistance, hoping to collect data on the potency of his latest toys firsthand, a trait doubtless inherited from his esteemed former master. My word, this data. Anyone want to talk on Sicinius?
We haven't actually met him in game yet, anywhere, other than in that cutscene where he's...
Other than the cutscenes, that's it. But we were all under the extreme impression that Aulus had survived that, and
he's going to show up in Bozja then in this culmination on the airship. What is it called again?
The Dalriada.
Dalriada.
Zadnor. So maybe we'll see him there using an aura sight? Question mark.
Possibly.
Possibly, yes.
I'm interested in the fact that all this shit is basically all tied to the resonant research.
It seems like everybody knows about this stuff at this point, which is means.
At this point, yes.
So then Xenos and Fandaniel know about it too.
I'm actually surprised that the fact that this transpired to Varys, and if I recall correctly, Varys, I'm not sure if it was Varys, but if not Varys, it was Solus that forbid the whole Garlean Magitech and Scientist Council. That's the reason actually why Xenos and Aulus worked basically under wraps, because the Garlean Empire wasn't didn't want consider the Resonant project to be kind of an aberration. If it wasn't Varys, then it was Solus, but the fact stands that they were not approving of Olus's and Xenos' project.
No, they were not.
So when the thing said that Sicinius went to Varys and tell him about his exploits, which of course involved the Resonant, I'm kind of wondering. So maybe Varys actually knew of this, and like Black Rose considered something. No matter how moral the depraved may be, it was maybe necessary, and the prohibition came from before he was crowned emperor, because Varys technically he ruled for a really short time. We tend to forget that aside of the time bubble and stuff, Varys has only been emperor for perhaps a year or two.
Yeah, he was pretty much there from like around the end of ARR, the beginning of Heaven's Ward, more or less, to the end of Stormblood Shadowbringers. Which, time bubble aside, would have been like maybe a year or so.
Really short reign, so I'm kind of wondering the prohibition came from Emperor Solus and not Varys.
Right. I'm going to go over the Bozjan resistance now, since this plays a key part. I'm kind of laying out the groundwork here now for everything. So the Bozjan resistance. Some resistance groups were formed in the initial phases of the Meteor project, but were put down until others heard of Alamigo and Doma rising up against the Empire and successfully driving them away. And the resistance was assisted by Heian to form an effective group, and Basialjan was chosen as its leader. The Eorzean Alliance, as well as Eastern allies, have armed them with provisions as well as arms to defend themselves with. Moving on to the Shadowbringers here. In order to rally more of their scattered countrymen to the cause, the resistance, at the behest of archaeologist Misija Wojciech, sought to revive the blades of Gunhildr, the royal guards of Queen Gunhildr, founder of Bozja, by reforging the legendary weapons that were wielded by them long ago. Seeking resistance from their allies, Geralt and Mikoto Jinba aid the resistance by attempting to utilize a treatment regarding memory that Bozjan sages used to deal with trauma to help find the holy inscriptions that gave the weapons their power. So she actually went looking for the holy inscriptions. Interesting. Unable to make any headway, the Warrior of Light is called for assistance by Mikoto, as they are more talented in the Echo and could help with a breakthrough. After successfully testing the memory method treatment on Geralt, it is determined Cid Garland would be a prime candidate for the procedure, as he might have memory on the weapon inscriptions. Following the procedure on Cid, the inscriptions are received and Geralt begins his work on the weapons. The newly reforged weapons are then handed to chosen members of the Resistance, and Basialjan presents the reformed Blades of Gunhildr to his people, rallying more soldiers to join the cause. With a now sizable force and morale at high, plans are made and set into motion to strike at Castrum Lacus Litor, the foothold of the 4th Imperial Legion. Anyone want to add to this?
To make your life easier when pronouncing the name of the resistance leader, that J in Slavic, most Slavic languages is read as an E. It's basically Bisalian.
Bisalian.
Is that the same then? Is that the same then as Bozja?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because it's not Bozja, it's Bozja.
See, I've been saying Bozja, but that some of these names, forgive me, chat. Okay.
Oh,
it's kind of like Bisalian, right?
Hmm?
For people call him Bisaljan usually, but it's Bisalian, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yes.
Because all of it's basically, if it's a J, it sounds sort of like a Y. Like
Think about
people think it's Jotun, but it's Jotun.
Jotun, yeah. I'm always down to get a phonemic education.
Think about how the capital of Iceland is named. It's Reykjavik, not Reykjavik.
Sorry, how was that pronounced, Meowth?
It's pronounced faceplant.
Yeah.
You don't want to know how that thing sounds with Spanish phonetics.
Yes. No. Let's hear it.
Please.
Phonetics?
I mean, pronounced right with the plainly with Spanish phonetics, it would be Reykjavik. But if we're going wrong, it would be Reykjavik. It's actually a
So
mess.
drunk versus normal. Got it.
Yes, exactly. That is.
I heard the same thing. It's like, give me the cheese fries.
What?
And 5 years. And let's go.
The cheat.
Okay, but I want to
if I wanted to pronounce wrong in Spanish the name Baisalian, I would say something like Baxalgen.
Oh, Meowth.
All I know is this conversation is making me really want voiced Bunny Boy NPCs because their actions are amazing.
Yes.
Voiced by Lance Bass.
Slavic bunny boys.
I mean, yeah, the VR actually used the same thing. If you recall, Fran's sister in Final Fantasy XII, her name is written with a J. It's actually a J, but her name is Mirn, no Mrn.
Anyways, moving on.
Okay, that's enough.
So we're gonna introduce Messia for Messia. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Messia.
Yeah.
Not Messia, it's Messia.
IDK.
So Messia first shows herself to be a soft-spoken and kind-hearted individual fighting for the freedom of Bozja. In reality, though, she harbors an unrelenting, venomous hatred to the Blades of Gunhildr due to their betrayal of the last queen and her ancestor, causing her to commit heinous acts following her reveal. She not only gleefully poisoned the memory of her ancestor to make the queen embrace her hatred, but even tempered and twisted the bodies of several blades into horrific amalgamations. Like so many others, Messia grew up in one of Bozja's sprawling slums. Owing to imperial initiative, she was afforded the chance to receive an education, and through hard work, won a scholarship to attend the imperial capital's most prestigious institutions. Despite the injustice and indignities she suffered, Messia studied in fields such as folklore and archaeology, and attended conservants in Bozja history and culture, where she acquired the knowledge that she is descended from the Queen Gunhildr that saved the people in the Fourth Umbral Calamity, and that her noble ancestor was betrayed by her own protectors. All of this served to deprive her of any sense in allegiance for Bozja, and she would instead pledge herself to the Fourth. Since the time of the previous legatus, it has been the Legion's creed to welcome all, regardless of such things as race, faith, gender, and birth. What is counted as one's ability and loyalty, both of which Messia possess in abundance. And given her troubled past, it is of little wonder that she would find a home in the Fourth Imperial Legion. She's definitely a character written by Matsuno. Matsuno is famous for writing twists and betrayal plots. For those of you who played Tactics, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
6 and 12, actually.
Tactics and 12. Because it's one backstab after another.
But how do we love political drama?
So I'm not going to go over all of Gunhilder's blades. I went over Bysalian, who is the de facto leader, of course, but I'm just going to name them off because there's so many. And if I go through the profiles, it's going to take me probably a good hour, 2 hours. And we don't have the time for that. So there's Adis, Agi, Blaz, Isolde, Madden, Ratmir, Stanek, Tugum, Velibor, and Zevin. You actually see these guys out on the field in Bozja. You actually see them in the critical engagements and the random fates that you...
They're fighting alongside you throughout basically the entire campaign and in Lacus Latory at the very end.
Yes.
Whoa!
Wow.
Take a look, Imperials. This is the only chance you're going to see this. But you're doing it twice, 3 times, 4 times over. This is the only chance you're going to see this. But I'm going to have to go over what all is going to happen to them the next episode, since we're running short on time here. In fact, I think we're gonna close out on this note. I think we've laid out pretty much of all of what the resistance, who the resistance is, who they're made up of, who the 4th Legion is. You know who they are now, what their plans are. So next episode, we're gonna go over the Battle of Castrum Lacus Litor. We're going to go over the Battle of Delubrum Reginum. And since 5.5 comes out on Tuesday, we get to see what happens in the Dalriada.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
I'm going in day 1 for sure. If
We'll be able to do like a post-op where we finish off what we do know and then what we just learned.
Yes. So
Absolutely.
It's kind of going to be like a recap and a kind of like a talk over of what all we went through and our thoughts of while we were in the new area. Because of course, yes. Because of course we know that we've seen a couple of familiar faces in some of the screenshots, like Belias and Shemhazai.
And I'm just terrified that they're gonna bring out Zalera.
I think they're going to. Normally, like during last expansion, I would have expected more field content, but given things that happened and the fact that we're only getting these 2, I think they're going to bring out a lot of Espers with this patch.
Question: Do you think that
bring out Zalera and like any of the other ones we haven't seen yet? Honestly, I'm going to be raising my eyebrow, thinking that the story is going to continue like next expansion and more field.
Oh, I'm certain it'll continue. But my thought is like, basically, they're using these Espers keep appearing. They're clearly some sort of concept.
Real question is, will Gabranth use Exodus, the Judge Sal?
Oh.
And then Helmarut shows up like, dude.
Where's my rug?
Maybe we learn that Gabranth likes White Russians. You know, to go with the whole...
That would be quite the exodus.
I'm going on mute for that one.
You win. You win.
F. Yeah, but I mean, I concur with the thing. I mean, it's Exodus will be interesting as per to bring for Gabranth, not just because it's Jutsal. It's also because Exodus is the Esper. Well, he is the Esper of Ether, and he is fond of throwing meteors to your face as ultimate attack in Final Fantasy XII. So meteors now is something interesting. But if they bring the Zalera guns out, well,
I'll be screaming.
I mean, yes. Yeah, I love Dapper Skeleton Esper Man.
I think that is all the time we have for today. We'll continue next week, next Sunday, with part 2 of Bozja, with all 3. Basically, we'll just be going over all 3 parts of Bozja, and yeah, should be fun, should be good. For those that didn't do the new one, spoilers.
Yes, expect them.
Yes.
Well, I suppose I'll close it out. Thank you guys for coming. Please come next week, and we will have a lot of fun discussing the Citadel, Reginae, and the new content. See you next time.
Take care, guys.